and welcome to Dilli to Dublin. Today's episode is very special because it's all about marketing. So, if you're into marketing, content creation, or if you want to start your own business in Ireland, this one's for you. I'm Amisha, and today's episode is one I'm really excited about because it's about marketing, content creation, and starting your own business in Ireland. I'm joined by Asim Ibrahim, the founder of Buzful Marketing, a super cool digital agency based here in Dublin. Asim has built something really unique with Busful, especially when it comes to creating short form content for brands on platforms like TikTok. So we're going to chat about how he got started, what the journey's been like, the challenges he's faced, and of course, some real advice for anyone wanting to start a marketing agency in Ireland. It's going to be fun, honest, and super insightful. So stick around. And Asim, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Really excited to explain more about what we do, and yeah, and I've been working, Amisha, with you for a while now, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk a bit about marketing, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
That's great. So let's start about just tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you ended up diving into the world of marketing.
Yeah, so it's quite a long journey, I think. So I'm Asim Ibrahim. I'm 24 years old, and I've been running Buzzful for probably about just over 2 years now. I had quite a long journey to get here. It wasn't my initial goal to start a business. It just kind of came about, really. But yeah, I'm from Manchester, United Kingdom. I grew up there till about 5 years old. I moved to Dublin with my family quite young. And yeah, I basically became Irish over these last 4 years, growing up here, doing school. Everything from primary school to junior cert and leaving cert. For people that don't know, that's like GCSEs or like your kind of like high school years, you know. But yeah, I did everything here in terms of education. And yeah, I had quite a big passion for football growing up. So that was my main thing. My goal was to always, I guess, play sports at quite a high level. So I was like really big into that. I would train probably all the time with my friends and just kind of spend every time after school just playing football and getting better. Um, and yeah, when I finished my leaving cert at the age of 18, I had the opportunity to actually go to England and become a professional footballer, which was a big goal of mine. Um, so yeah, nothing really big marketing before then. It was all just kind of about sports, really. I had a big interest in social media. I always tried to set up a few Instagram pages for small businesses here and there where they failed after 2 weeks, a lot of these companies. But I had a brief understanding about how to actually set up an Instagram page for business and how to actually post and use different hashtags. And yeah, that was my main thing. When I left to play football in England, I was over there just really playing. And then the chance when I guess COVID happened was when I came back to Ireland and I had the chance to study marketing, innovation, and technology here in Ireland in a course. And that was when I learned a lot about video. And yeah, that's probably speaks for itself at the moment with how Buzzful started. I guess Buzzful's mainly, I guess, a humanized TikTok agency where we make a lot of short form content for businesses. And yeah, I just started that one day, Buzzful, and I had some experience as well working with Channel 4. I'm sure you know Channel 4 in England, but basically what they are, they're a television production, and I had a chance to do a short course with them at the time. And yeah, I can probably dive a bit more into how Buzzful started, but yeah, that's a brief overview about me, a little bit of sports and a bit of some videos. But yeah, that was kind of how I kind of had, I guess that shaped me into what I am now, I guess.
Okay, that's great. So, so how did Busful come to life? Like what made you say, okay, I need to start my own agency now? Like, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I always had the goal of creating a business one day. That was my main thing. But I just didn't really know how. That was probably my biggest thing. I always thought, well, do I need maybe 20,000 euro in cash to kind of start my company? Do I need a big loan or something? And I guess probably it started from, as I say, when I was studying my course in marketing for a year during COVID at home. I had a big interest in video and short form content. And one of my main things was I actually left Ireland again at the age of 19. So I actually went to work in a sales company in Liverpool. So when I was over there, I learned a lot about business by working in that company. And I was, it was difficult. It wasn't easy. So what I was doing, it was commission only sales. So I would be out Monday to Friday, probably from about 12 o'clock till 6 o'clock every day, not getting paid a salary, simply just knocking on doors, people's houses, trying to sell them gas and electricity. And that was very difficult because I was learning about getting no's, having to have people having to answer the doors for me when it was raining really hard outside, and I knew they didn't want to open the door because it was cold. I didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be there, and I was doing that for a while. And from learning from that, I generally understood that a business isn't about capital. It's generally about how many people you get to pay you for a certain amount of a service. So I was doing that for a while. I learned a lot about business through that way. And then basically I came back to Ireland for a brief period of time. And my initial goal was to get a chance working in marketing. So when I was working before in Channel 4, I had the understanding about how to actually work in an agency. I did probably about a 3 month placement over there. And when I came back to Ireland, I thought, okay, I've got all this experience now. I know probably everything about marketing. I'm going to get a job just like that. So I came back here. I applied to probably about 50 to 100 companies. Really good CV, really good experience from my time with what I did so far. And yeah, I just couldn't get an interview with any of these corporations or these agencies. I just couldn't seem to get a look in, unfortunately, at the time. So I thought to myself, okay, look, I'll give it a couple more weeks. I'll try because look, everybody gets rejected, right? Everyone's gonna get chances where no one's gonna give them an opportunity. You just have to go through. That's the life of the game, really. So I spent a few more weeks talking to a few more agencies, trying to get some connections, or trying to kind of, get a few more applications out there. And it just wasn't happening for me, unfortunately. So thought, okay, what am I going to do now, really? So I was at home one day. I was sitting there, and it was just the point of I noticed my own bank balance was going quite low. I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? I can't really live like this anymore. I need to kind of work or do something. And I think just something within me kind of something, I don't know what it was, it kind of just forced me to just kind of say, okay, I have to do something now. And one day I was sitting at home on the computer and I just searched the top 100 restaurants in Dublin. And I thought, okay, what's the best way to reach these people? So I literally just picked up the phone and I said, okay, I've got nothing to lose right now. I'm just going to call them, see what happens. If they say no, I couldn't really care less because I'm in kind of a survival situation now. And I picked up the phone. I literally just said, "Hi, I'm this agency. Yeah, I work with a few other restaurants, and basically, can I help you with your social media? Can I help you with Instagram posts?" Some of them said, "Excuse me." Some of them said, "Yeah, yeah, the owner's not here today. Maybe call back this day." I said, "Okay, no problem." I made a note of that. Some of them said, "Yeah, yeah. How much you charge?" Okay, 50, 20 euro a week. No, that's too expensive. I'm not interested. Some of them said, "Yeah, yeah, okay, you can come in and have a chat with me." And I think the first person I ever spoke to, he said, "Yeah, you can come and chat with me." He was in a place called Dunboyne in Ireland, which is right outside of Dublin, about 2.5 hours away from where I lived. So I was really excited that day. You can imagine me having no business, having no job opportunity. I put on a suit and everything. I was like, okay, great. This is my first prospect. I'm going to go and see. I had everything prepared, my presentation. I had a full Gantt chart as well with his current business. And I said, okay, this is what he can improve on and everything. So it was the morning time, probably about 9:30 in the morning. It was quite a nice day. I made sure I slept early the night before, and I'm not a good sleeper. I generally can't sleep well on time at night. I'm someone who stays up too late, and I find it hard to sleep, especially when I've got something really exciting the next day. So I went the next day. I woke up. I was really excited in a good mood. I traveled about 2.5 hours. I got into town, took about 3 trains, and I got there, and he wasn't there.
Oh
So
no.
I get there and I say, okay, he's not here. Let me call him. I called him. He didn't answer the phone. I said, okay, he's not answering the phone. He's not here. I asked the manager, can you just give him a call to let him know I'm here? I'm happy to wait. And at the time, I was like, look, I'll wait even 3 hours, 4 hours if he's going to be away. That's no problem. Because when you've got no standards in a business, you're like, well, I'll do whatever it takes. So he calls him and he goes, oh yeah, he's not going to be here today. He's busy.
Oh
So I was
no.
like, okay, he's busy. I've traveled how many hours to get here? I said, okay, I got to travel 2, 3 hours home now with nothing essentially. So that was my first experience. But then luckily enough, I got home that day. I made a few more phone calls and I saw a page, a restaurant, and they hadn't posted in about 6 or 7 months or so. So I called him. I said, look, we were on a social media agency, and he goes, "Oh, you run social media?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, we do. Instagram and a few things." He goes, "Oh, really? Yeah, I'm the general manager here. I'm the co-owner as well." And I said, "Oh, that's really cool." I said, oh yeah, can I come in and see you one of the days? And he goes, yeah, yeah, come in and see me on Wednesday.
Hmm.
So I come in on Wednesday evening. I wait for him. Again, same situation. He's not there. But his son's there, and he goes, "Oh, you got the guy who does social media." I said, "Yeah, yeah, that was me. I spoke to your dad, Alan." He goes, "Yeah, no problem. He'll be here soon." So, long story short, I ended up waiting about 2 hours for him as well, but he did show up in the end. I had a meeting for about 2 hours with him. I showed him what we do. I said, "Look, this is what we can do." I gave him at the time a really low price, and even I saw how nice the restaurant looked, and I was like, if he comes in now and he's not happy with the price, I'll tell him, you know what, I'll just do it for free. I'll do it for free for 6 months. I don't even care. I just want to show how nice this restaurant is and show that my business is part of it in some way, right?
Yeah.
So, long story short, he ends up signing up. He gives me a verbal agreement,
Hmm.
and he go, okay, great, that's good and everything. So I actually didn't hear from him for about 2 weeks or so, and I was like, okay, this is a bit strange. And at this time, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to do something or put something in my own hands because one thing I would probably learn from that is nobody gives you an opportunity and no one's really going to care more than you when you're starting a business. So I didn't hear anything from him for 2 weeks. And I thought, okay, you know what? I was sitting at home on a Thursday afternoon. I thought, you know what? Phoning him's not going to work. I literally just put on a suit. I went 2 hours into town. I said, hi, how's it going? Really apologize. I just have to get the Instagram logins. I forgot to ask you something before. And he goes, oh, yeah, so sorry. I forgot about the thing here. Here's the payment. And we kind of started from then. So that was the start of the business. And yeah, it was quite a long time of trials and tribulations, but that was the early days, and we kind of sort of initially grew from then. That was yeah from the start. So
That sounds really inspiring because I've always wanted, to start my own agency, but I just never ended up because I don't think I had the courage to do it. But yeah, that was really inspiring to hear. Now that I know where it all started, I want to know what were some of the biggest challenges you faced because I know it couldn't be like all like very easy. So how is it starting out a business in a competitive place like Dublin?
mm. Do you know what? I think for us, I think we had a decent philosophy for how we were starting because a lot of the agencies here in Dublin, they're very professionally focused. They're very, bespoke video production, and that's not what Busful is. We're very people orientated. We're very human first, and we're very about information. We're not about being too serious, too professional. We want to engage the viewers, and we're more about how can we capture people's attention? How can we give our clients the most views and the most ROI on the videos we create for them? So that's our main thing. Um, you could say yes, there's a lot of agencies here that were they own a lot of the client base here and they're very professional, but I think there's always a change. You look at, for example, how Google started, and you look at someone like ChatGPT or OpenAI coming in the last year or so, and how everyone's moved over to ChatGPT. And even for my own self now, if I'm searching something, I don't use Google anymore. I use ChatGPT or I use TikTok because I want to either see a video result of what I'm searching for, like a review. Even for yourself, like you do food reviews, for example. If I'm searching best too good to go orders in Dublin, you'll probably come up on one of the first couple of videos, for example. Or on ChatGPT, it'll give me more of a detailed response. So I think the idea of that challenges, yes, they are going to be there, but I think there's always going to be one kid or one company that's going to just disrupt everything. So
Right.
I think it's more of a mental thing, I think, and I think when you go outside and you really try, um, it's all up to yourself, and you can. And what I learned so far is that you can create a business out of nothing and disrupt the marketing agency in the country overnight just from doing how you do things differently. And how I describe probably Buzzful is probably all the other marketing agencies in Dublin are classical music. Buzzful's the hip hop of Dublin. We're the hip hop of the marketing industry, I think. We do things very differently, and I think, yeah, I think music. If we did, to describe it like music, I think there's always a new genre people are going to like, and there's always new things evolving all the time. So there's never a limit of what you can do, and yeah, that's probably what comes to my mind at the moment in terms of competition and things. So
Mm-hmm. That's a very nice way of putting it, hip hop of the industry. That's very nice. So we both are in the marketing industry and we know that trends are always changing. So how do you keep Busful ahead, of the trends and make sure that you're always offering something fresh to your clients?
yeah, interesting. There's always new things we have to look at. So I think a lot of competitor analysis. For me, I look at who's the best in the world. So I'll be looking at probably agencies in America, agencies in England as well, and seeing what are they adding. Are they adding, for example, even recently, I was looking at a lot of these agencies that are adding actors in and actresses into their TikTok content and saying, okay, well, if they're doing it and nobody else in Ireland is doing it yet, then that's our cue to kind of add these things in. I think there's a great quote by Steve Jobs, and I think he said that most companies out there, or most artists, um, great company, no, good companies create new ideas. Great companies steal what's already good and they make it even better.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, always looking at what's out there and trying to see how can we even add our own spin to it as well. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different things we're always looking at. How can we bring in maybe the best people? How can we even try our best to retain the best people as well? That's one thing. And I think, yeah, try and just build the best team we can and the best systems for our clients, I think is one thing. But as I say, look, I've only been in this industry 2 years. I'm still learning as time goes on. There's still things I don't know that I'm probably going to learn as time goes on as well. But yeah, I think just looking at what's already out there and how can we improve by seeing what works and how can we maybe stop doing what hasn't been working recently as well, and what can we um, if something's taking more time, how can we make it quicker and cut our old things and implement new things other people are doing? Even if we don't like it now, there's a reason why these people are doing it, and there's a way why there's a reason why we should probably be doing that too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. Got it. And if I had to ask if there is any one campaign or a project or a client that you like really stood out to you and you were like really proud of that. So what would you say? What project would that be?
Yeah, I think I'd probably be biased to say all of our clients have been good. Um, but I think one that maybe stands out is one of our clients called Borza Rosso. And you will know this because you're working with them as well.
Yeah.
Teresa's probably a very memorable person on TikTok, and I think probably everybody in Ireland at this point has probably watched her at least once or heard of her. I think she's one client where we've probably done at least a couple of million views for her so far in such a short period of a year. Um, but yeah, she's probably our most, I'd say, ideal client in terms of what we need from her and what she understands from our agency and works in our kind of style as well. Um, and I think maybe as well, you could maybe say Forza step aside as well, or even Tucking is a good one too. We've done some really big views for them as well, and they've seen some really big ROI from us in terms of some customers as well. So I think that would be our most standout. I think also one of our clients before as well, San Marino was a big one. I think because they were the first client we got to experiment with actresses and actors,
Hmm.
and seeing how that worked, and he got some bad backlash as well because everyone thought that she was like 12 years old and we were hiring some child to work for us, but no, I think she was actually older than me as well. So that was fun. Um, but yeah, I think those are three big clients. I think, and I'm also excited about for the future as well for all of our clients because we've seen what's worked for these clients now, and I think now for the future we're gonna get a better idea of this is what's working for them, and we can just without learning as we did now, we can even just pass this on to our future clients now because we've learned it so much and we actually understand what works now as well. So yeah, that would be probably three standout clients I think so far. And you can also say a few like Macari and Token as well is a big one. Um, lots of different ones so far. There's a lot, and Hobby Airsoft's very big one too. He's been noticed out quite a lot now as well. And I think the biggest thing for me is when I hear that the clients have said that they've been recognized out in public,
Hmm.
not from anything else, just purely from the videos we produce for them. And the thing is for us as well, we don't use any paid ads whatsoever for any of our content. So if we're getting 10,000, 20,000, 1.6 million views on a video, that's all from organic content, organic ideas. And, when we had, for example, Teresa, she's obviously originally Italian and she goes back to Italy quite a lot. And she's, mentioned a few times she's been spotted in the airport. People have said, "Oh, you're that woman, you're a chipper woman from TikTok. You're, gives a bag of chips to you and stuff like that. These kind
Yeah.
of phrases
You
that
know,
just says,
every time I shoot for her, at least one or two people come in and they're like, we know you, we see your TikToks and everything. So yeah, I agree with Teresa. She's one memorable face. I do love working for her.
exactly. I know because even yeah, so many different times where she said she's been spotted out in public. There was one guy in what was a stepson called Gabriel, and he was one of the chefs there. Now he mentioned one time he goes, I was out in Aldi with my wife, and some woman came up to him and goes, "Oh, I've seen you on TikTok. You work for Borza, right?" And he goes, "No, that wasn't me." And I go to him, Why'd you say that for?" He goes, and it is. He goes, "I didn't want to make my wife jealous because my wife would have been talking to me for hours after that, saying, 'Oh, I don't want you to be in TikTok anymore,' and oh, you having an affair on the side and all this stuff." So, so yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
it's an organic thing. And one thing I always say to the clients that we work with is, years ago, it's what the television was years ago. When you were on the news or when you were on, for example, you were on a TV advert years ago, 20 years ago, everyone would be saying to you out down in the shops or down in your local takeaway in the villages you lived in, oh, I've seen you on TV. Oh, how did you get on there? Oh, let me get a autograph from you. It was just as I say, it was a silly thing that made people viral back then, just because wow, you're on TV, and being on TV back then was something that you had to earn the opportunity to go on TV. It was never something you were given. It was just like there was a reason you're on TV, and I think now it's a similar thing where if you're on TikTok now, um, it's something that stands out to you because I even every time I travel over to the UK, I go there quite often. I go to a lot of the takeaways over there, and a lot of the chicken shops where I'll walk in and I might see a viral place on TikTok. And when I walk in, I'll literally see the same guy that was in the video there serving, who was serving the guy, or even mopping the floors, for example. And I'm thinking, are you not an actor? And he goes, no, I actually work here. I'm just a guy in the videos. And he's getting maybe some videos, he's getting 80 million views on one single video. I'm like, well, you should, you should go and maybe be an actor or a model after this, but that's it. It's just, and that's the beauty of TikTok. And that's why I really enjoy what we do for our clients is because we're taking people that are doing ordinary jobs and we're making it more fun for them, and we're making it into something where they every time when we come in for an hour every week or a couple of hours every month, we're giving them a performance, we're giving them an experience that they otherwise wouldn't get when they're, for example, just serving coffees or serving chips, for example. It's now becoming fun for them, and they're getting maybe a dopamine hit off people coming and saying, "Oh, I've seen you on TikTok. Can I get a picture? Can I get a quick a video of you saying a catchphrase, for example?" So these different things that I think it also gives us a good opportunity to grow as a brand, but it's also it's making them enjoy their day more as well and giving them maybe a better experience in that job. So yeah, I really really think it's really enjoyable for us, and yeah.
Okay. And if you had to give one advice to anybody out there who wants to start their own business or a marketing agency in Ireland, what would it be?
I'd say the first one would be there's a really good quote by a great speaker called Chris Williams, and he said along the lines of this: "If it's hard, good. It means no one else is going to do it." That if I could leave with any line, it would be that. Because a lot of people think that yeah, I'll start a company, it'll be easy, I'll start making a lot of money, for example. But there's other things that do come in. There's never a moment where everything goes well. There's always times of there might be a week where something happens or an issue happens or an operational issue happens as well. And I think in the really early stages, these are things where you learn. But I think, and I don't know the stage yet, but once you get to maybe 8 figures, 9 figures of the company, it's when you start having more managers available where you can then kind of step away from more managerial tasks and have kind of it being kind of overseen for you. But I think just give it 100% and really believe in the vision and make sure all your systems are correctly in place. And I think for me, I wasn't, and this is probably for myself, I wasn't quite a big organized person before this. I was in terms of an athlete where I had to be at training at a certain time or train, or eating, my meals at a certain time. But in terms of organization, it wasn't really a big thing for me. And I've learned probably the hard way. I've learned with some clients where I wasn't organized properly, and those clients stopped working with us due to that. And I just made sure that, okay, from then on, I'm just going to make sure that never happens again. And there was no better way for me to learn that than, I guess, failing in those areas. Um, so I think, yeah, and maybe a third point as well is that you're probably going to learn more from your failures than your wins. I've learned not much from my wins at all. It's probably just been the times, as I mentioned, when clients left, or even when clients complained about certain things. For example, like when if we didn't send a certain posting schedule for a week,
Mhm.
we never used to do that before. And then once one client asked for that, I made that a clear standard for every client now. So yeah, and then maybe a fourth point, which I'm still learning as well. And I had a business owner. I asked the business owner one time. I said, what's the biggest piece of advice you learned so far? And he goes, listen to your customers. He goes, he goes, to get to the level I got to now, it was purely about listening to my customers and having really good customer service and making sure that they're happy. And I guess from that is, imagine if you were in their position. If you were, for example, and I think this goes to everything in life, if you were a business owner and your own marketing agency was working with you, would you still work with them? would you be happy with how they're currently operating with you? Would the content that you're sending to them, would you be happy with it, or would you be saying, you know what, I probably wouldn't work with my own agency anymore? So a lot of self-reflection, I think, as well. It's probably a final point, but yeah, definitely I've learned these things so far. And as I say, I'm always open to learning more things as time goes on. And yeah, that's just briefly so far, but there's always we never stop learning. I guess is the main one. And I think a good mentor of mine said, the day we stop learning is the day we die. So that's it. I think.
I totally agree. They were like really good advices. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for being on this podcast. That's it from my end, and I think that's a wrap on today's episode. A massive, massive thank you to Asim for joining me and sharing such an honest look into what it's really like to start and grow a marketing agency in Ireland. I think a lot of people are going to walk away from this feeling inspired, even me, and with a few solid tips as well. Also, if anybody of you wants to check out Buzful Marketing or see what Asim's working on, I'll drop the links in the description. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. And Asim, do you have anything to say before you leave?
Yeah, I just say really appreciate the opportunity for having me. I appreciate you taking time out of your day as well to listen. And yeah, I just if it's going to even inspire one person or even yeah, Buzzful's message out to even one person, that's a win in itself. And yeah, I just say really appreciate everything in terms of the questions. And yeah, like I'll be definitely happy to speak to you again sometime, maybe in a more brief period or some more depth. But yeah, I really
Yeah.
appreciate the questions, and I think it's understood a lot about what Buzzful is and the journey so far. And I think, as I say, it's something I think be really I think interesting for some people to listen to. And yeah, really appreciate your time.
Same here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Asim. I'll see you on the next shoot.
Yeah, we'll do for sure.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
bye.